Ed, summer has arrived. Let's talk about summer concealed carry, mistakes you might make. I mean, wearing my belly band way too tight and then having the sweat drip down in front of my pants. Ooh. That seems to be a problem.
Yeah, that was an issue.
But
the biggest one that I see, the biggest mistake that I see people make for summer carry is they switch over to their summer gun, which is fine. Mm-hmm. However, when we're at the range, I don't see them running that summer gun. Well, because it's small and it's not very comfortable. And
I don't like shooting it.
I know. That's the whole point, is that you bought a swim trunks gun. This is a tiny little gun that you can carry when you're not wearing as much clothes as you are in the wintertime. But if that's the gun you're going to carry every day, you need to train with that gun.
And absolutely make sure that you are carrying it in a means, in a location where it is accessible and you have trained accessing that gun. Accessing? I put the accent on the wrong syllable.
I think you did.
But drawing and presenting. There we go.
We go.
That's what professional trainers call it, is presenting. Presenting.
As if you're walking up to the attacker like,
here is my gun. I presented this.
Well, and that's just one that you see a lot. Another one that which was it? It was a Smith & Wesson M&P of some description that I bought. And I noticed that some of my favorite shirts, it was like Velcro. The texture on that grip frame was like Velcro. So it was like I was posing for "Don't Do What Donnie Don't Does" pictures for the magazine of just like, this man's clothing do not agree with the,
Yep, absolutely.
It can be very easy to, I don't want to buy more stuff. I like these shirts. Well, if the gun that you bought doesn't agree with those shirts,
doesn't work with the shirts,
those cover garments are hooking up on that gun, you're going to need to change something.
And I will admit to what could have been an egregious summer carry mistake gun. My very first backup gun on the sheriff's department was that P11, that Kel-Tec P11.
Yes.
And I stippled the polymer frame very aggressively, to the point that, that thing certainly wasn't going to slide out from my vest. That's for sure. But it was not a gun I was going to carry if it would touch my skin at all anywhere. It was just that rough and uncomfortable to deal with.
Well, and that's the final of I guess if you ask me for the big three mistakes that I see people make, the third one would be your concealed gun has to remain concealed.
Right.
When it's mid-February in northern Minnesota and you get to wear every stitch of clothing you own and you can adequately conceal a full-size pistol, that's way easier than now. It's 90-70, right? 90 degrees, 70% humidity. You're not wearing nearly as much clothes, and a lot of people are tempted to just not conceal their firearm. You need to carry that firearm concealed. People get angry when we talk about this, but there's an awful lot of videos you can watch. People getting their guns snatched, and keep that gun concealed. For goodness sake, please keep that gun concealed.
What if we go with the Miami Vice shoulder holster and linen jacket look, and particularly pastel undershirt, shoulder holster, linen jacket? Could I pull off the Don Johnson?
Yes. I mean, it would draw more attention than just an openly carried pistol, but yes, you could get away with that.
And I would need probably linen pants and some deck shoes.
Some deck shoes, woven loafers, any number of augmentations to that. You'd have to start smoking. I don't know if you're up for that.
No, I think that's going to be no. I will not start smoking. I will not start smoking to implement my summer carry.
Boy, and those were Luckies too, real ones with no mufflers.
Those were the old days. But a light cover garment. I mean, this is the heat we've had recently. Certainly not jacket weather. No. I mean, and I return to my Hawaiian shirt phase when something like this happens. When it gets this hot, that covers up just about any gun I will ever want to carry. Is a good, I will call it oversized Hawaiian shirt, and I think I look good in them. Others will disagree, but
it's difficult for me to find a Hawaiian shirt that is oversized on me, honestly. But if you are going to go the untucked shirt route, you may have to bump up to whatever size you normally wear, XXL T.
Yeah.
Because a normal cut for a normal shirt is not necessarily going to conceal a firearm as much as you want it to.
Especially if you don't have an inside the waistband holster.
Right.
If you're carrying something outside the waistband. And again, I've made it, public knowledge that I've been looking at different carry methods because I've been having some sciatic pain. And yeah, the outside the waistband pancake holster has been working way better because I can slide it a little more forward than the inside the waistband at 4 o'clock forward. So outside the waistband at 3 o'clock makes it better, but I need a different cover garment to make that work.
Well, right. And when you are seeing whether this will conceal your gun, you have to understand you don't just stand in front of a mirror in public. You're leaning over to grab things. You're reaching up for things. Put in the time and make sure that your firearm remains concealed. Now, if that means you are going to switch to a summer gun that you carry in a pocket, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we're not pocket carry haters. Grab yourself a pocket holster. Please don't just stick guns in your pockets. We beg that you don't do that. And that's fine.
Take everything else out of your pocket.
Everything else out of that pocket. Train with that pocket gun, etc. But just find something that works. And that's a borderline insulting thing to say to some people because they say, look, I don't have a lot of time. Okay, sure. But find something that works.
Yeah.
And walking around with an exposed firearm in most populated areas of this country is not going to cut it.
Did you know we have a secret gun giveaway going on right now? You can enter for free, but it ends really soon. Just click the link in the description below to reveal which brand new gun you could win. So what are you carrying as the summer gun, Ed?
Well, as somebody who gets to wear an untucked shirt basically all the time, it's Glock 19 pretty much year round. Mm-hmm. I've always been a big fan of the pocket pistols. I love the first gen LCPs. They're very difficult to shoot unless you practice with them a lot. So before everybody jumps in to comment about how terrible the trigger is, yeah, that trigger is a large part of its safety system.
Right.
That's a long double action press. But if you're somebody who grew up shooting revolvers like I did, well, first of all, it's not that big a deal. But if you train with it, and if you train in tiny pistol tactics, which is its own thing, yeah, they can run great. I don't feel as confident with that as I do with a Glock 19 and a spare mag. But rule number one always applies, right?
Yeah, have that gun with you. And I tend to, when I go to a smaller gun, I shift away from that Glock 19 to the Mossberg MC2SC. Mm-hmm. And I like the size, shape, and feel of that gun. And I've run several classes with that gun, and it works very well. I don't feel like I'm undergunned or needing, more ammo or anything like that. It's just smaller and easier to put underneath a light shirt or when I'm wearing cargo shorts or something like that. And still, I can carry it on my hip and keep it concealed, and it's right there when I need it. But it's just, I would say, just one step down in the size ladder category. And, people ask, well, the Glock 19 thing, why? I went into Glocks as my concealed carry guns because Glocks were the duty pistol, and I needed to have a pistol that was substantially similar to the Glock 22 that I was carrying when I was on duty. And so Glock 19 made perfect sense for me for my concealed carry pistol.
Definitely.
Summertime also has some people dropping down to the 380. Right. And you mentioned the Ruger LCP, and when we're talking about a smaller gun, you're right, tiny gunfighting techniques are different. And I almost said when you mentioned the LCP, well, that's a 9-foot gun. That's about as far out as I would be effectively shooting that Ruger LCP or something similar with those sights at that range and stuff like that. I have to know my limitations. I haven't trained a lot on tiny guns. But do you think people are giving away a lot when they go from 9mm to 380?
Like everything else, in this kind of questioning about self-defense handgunning, it very quickly becomes clear a lot of people can't hold two things in their head at the same time. Yes, the 9mm is a more powerful cartridge than 380. 380 is a pistol that's been used for well over a century, or cartridge, I should say, that's been used for well over a century, very effectively all over the world. So are they giving away anything? Well, is the other option not carrying a gun?
Yeah, that's again, we're going back to rule number one, which is have a gun. And for all the people, I even did a short video recently at an event where we were shooting lots of 380 and other ammo into gel blocks, and I'll name it. It was this new Fiocchi concealed carry ammo, and holy cow, do they have the penetration and expansion down to where they want it to be. And yeah, the 380 hit with less foot-pounds of energy, but it went just as deep as the 9mm,
Sure.
and it expanded just as wide as the 9mm. And if I can put that on target, I want that on target.
And we can dig as deeply as we want to into this. Some instructors will, the chanting of lamentations will begin with, but, most of the most common ones are blowback, and that's going to be harder to shoot. Yeah, whatever, man. I get it. Mm-hmm. I understand that you want to contribute to this conversation, but if the one gun that this person has that is not their full-size gun is an LCP, maybe be more concerned with helping them train with that gun than trying to talk them out of carrying it.
Yeah, because they've made that choice. Let's get them involved and not make them feel bad about the choice that they're making. Let's make them be more effective with the choice that they have made. And again, if you can put 3 or 4 rounds in center mass at 15 feet with your LCP in under 2 or 3 seconds, you're probably winning the fight. You're definitely changing the outcome of what the bad guy was thinking. So I'm not going to yell at anybody for carrying a 380. If you drop down to a 380 for summer, again, we go back to what we started with. Train with it.
Yep.
Make sure it's concealed when you're carrying it. Make sure it's accessible when you're carrying it.
So you brought up Hawaiian shirts, and this is some institutional knowledge here at the USCCA. Some people haven't been here long enough to understand that at one point in time, you'd made a video that was lampooned by none other than England's, or wherever he's from.
Yeah.
Easily in the top 600 comedians to ever come out of that place, John Oliver.
Our main story tonight concerns guns. You know, big pew-pew sticks that go boom boom. Guns are everywhere in America, and I do mean everywhere.
How many guns do you think I can hide underneath a Hawaiian shirt? Of course, we got the gray man. Got my Beretta Model 85. Feels like a Car Arms CT-45. Charter Arms, undercover, 38 Special. Grandpa Dave's old Derringer. This is a Sky CPX-2, Smith & Wesson 442.
He went after you pretty hard, didn't he?
Yeah, I made a fun video about how many guns I could put underneath my Hawaiian shirt or conceal in my Hawaiian shirt. I actually had a North American Arms small revolver in the shirt pocket as well. John Oliver on what was the name of his show? This Week Tonight or something
they all
like
run together.
That. Yeah. He grabbed me and made me real world famous on there. My kids got to use that segment on Two Truths and a Lie game or something like that when they were in college, because no one would believe that I was on John Oliver's show. And yeah, you can get a lot of guns underneath a well-fitting or even oversized Hawaiian
You
shirt.
can, and I'm always reminded of, I don't know that you ever saw it, but there was a movie called I'm Gonna Get You, Sucka.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a scene in which Isaac Hayes and Jim Brown are gearing up for the big climactic battle, and they're both putting as many guns as possible on them. And it becomes very clear, part of the joke of the scene is, you can do it, you're not going to move very well.
Right.
And you remember when you had like a shotgun down each pant leg or whatever, I can conceal a lot of different guns. Let's talk about what's practical.
Yeah.
Let's talk about if you actually, and forget like fast roping down into a skylight or something.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about driving a car.
Yeah.
Or moving.
Yeah, walking comfortably and sitting down with 9 guns in different
Right.
holsters on my waist. Not going to happen, but
No.
fun little bit. And yeah, we got tons of views on YouTube and tons more views after John Oliver decided that people who carry guns are wrong and goofy and stuff like that. And I guess any publicity is good publicity. I was kind of happy to be on the show, but I don't expect him to understand or be realistic. He's a comedian. He's
Right.
not a news reporter. Well, thanks for your summer insights, Ed. We'll be back
Summer
in another.
better than others.
Yeah, there we go. We'll be back in another 3 months to talk about our winter insights. But
Perfect.
right now, it's hot out. You still want to carry your gun. Keep it concealed and train with that gun you're going to carry if you switch up.